Hey everybody, welcome to episode 97 of the Bonehead Podcast, where we talk all things Blood Bowl. Welcome back, I'm Ben, and once again I'm joined by Bloodtype Ben. How you doing, BT?
Hello, doing very well, thank you. How are you?
I am good. Now there is only one me on the audio track, then I think I'm much better. And I got a new cable, and yeah, so things are shaping up. Honestly, dude, I think it was because whatever, everything had happened. It'd been like a month since we recorded, and I promised you guys that we would actually use the Alienware instead of just the 17-year-old PC. Didn't I promised that I would. So I was like, I'm going to do this now. This is a great time. And in true, I don't know, I want to say it's not just me, but it tends to be like, oh yeah, I need to do that thing. 7 minutes to the podcast. Yeah, I'll sort it out
everyone.
right now. Yeah. Good.
Every deadline universe.
That makes me feel much, much better. However, trying to edit 2 hours of a really good conversation with 4 Blood Bowl maniacs.
5.
Oh, yeah. When 3 Bens is too many Bens.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are back. It is episode 97 now. BT, what are we talking about this week?
We're going to have a real conversation about running a league and that, involving app like Tourplay, which is currently how we're running Ian is running our current league, and it's really good. Got a lot of good things to say about that.
It's been really cool to see it unfold. And yeah, we actually haven't touched on the league, but we kind of got a bit of an off week while the Amazon news is brewing up. So I thought it'd be a really good opportunity to just chat about what Ben thinks of the Amazon team, but also hey, it's leagues. Let's talk leagues. Let's talk Tourplay. Tourplay. Let's talk. Yeah, let's Tourplay. Anyway, break then news, cause words. Okay, so Blood Bowl news. On the one hand, not a lot has changed since the last episode came out because it's been 3 days, kind of technically, but there's a few things for us to cover anyway. First of all, before we go any further, just want to say a massive thank you to everyone out there who supports the show, either buying the merch, subscribing to the channel, liking, or by our superior Patreons. We've had a few new people join us in the last kind of period as well. We've got Glenn Reed, Jack Waller, Adam Wilcox, Tom Rolfe, LePilf, Nicholas Dunlop, Tim, Justin McDonald, NHAP1, Florian, Dwayne Braswell, Matthew Kerrigan, Nicolo, Marco Piedena, Tim M, Chuck Crawford, Victor Hansen, Blake Miller, Trevor Craig, Benedict Simon, and Liam DWL. Massive thank you for joining the crew. It just means we can do the things that we do. And the things that we do are run some pretty great Blood Bowl events. I think they're pretty great.
I think
we get pretty good feedback, and the days are so much fun. And we've got 3 more tournaments this year, which is pretty sweet. And the next one is in 86 days and 12 hours from the point at which we are recording then. And that is going to be...
Gonna come around quick.
It's
almost over.
Dude, NFL season starts. Like, the preseason starts in just a couple of weeks. I couldn't believe it. I need football. Every Sunday, I'll be having a really lovely day. Like, Tiff works 1 in 4 Sundays, so that means 3 Sundays out of the month. I'll be really happy. We'll be having a really lovely day. We'll be on a day out or something, and then all of a sudden I'll just get hit by this significant grief and realization that come 6 o'clock I'm going to have nothing to watch. It's weird. It gets worse every year as well, because I have this 1,000-yard look, 1,000-yard stare, and Tiff will be like, "You just remember there's no football." I was like, yeah, I have. It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. But there is always Blood Bowl. And on the 22nd and 23rd of October, we've got an 11s tournament and then a 7s tournament on the Sunday. And this is going to be in Hampshire. This is going to be in Southampton. All of our events we run at Bournemouth International Centre, the BIC, or in Toyment, which is Poole, which is even lefter. This one is more rightwards because it is Southampton. So if you are... it's a different kind of area. So if you're Portsmouth and further, or up like Winchester, Salisbury, or whatever, it's a really good opportunity to come and play some awesome Blood Bowl. And I think something like 40 or 50 tickets have been sold now. So it's starting to get up. We've got the first batch of loot coming. I know we're probably going to do the same thing we do with prizes normally, but thanks to Grebo, we've already got a couple of nice, tasty bits of prize to give away as well. So it's going to be really cool. And we're working on our kind of media presence on the day. I don't know if we're going to be able to stream games, but we're going to see, because I want to. And,
something is in the works. This is really, really exciting.
Yeah, we've got some new kit, and we've got 80 days to figure it out, which is great for us because that is longer than 7 minutes before recording the podcast. So I figure we can sort that out. Anyway, tickets are on sale for that event at Entoyment, and then we've got another event. So that's October the 22nd and 23rd, 11s and 7s. You can come to one, come to both, whatever works for you. Then it's going to be Mixed Team Madness and Dungeon Bowl Team Madness and Ordinary Human, like normal Team Madness as well, which is going to be Bonehead Bowl, which is going to be back in Dorset at Entoyment in Poole. I love the venue. I know I mentioned it last time, but like the fact you can just scan the QR code and like Carl will just appear out of nowhere and bring you tea and pizza. Like, it's just the best.
It's a really cool place to play in the shops also. So
the shop is dangerous.
Like, leave your card at home and
yeah. That's a month afterwards. That's on Saturday, the 26th of November. So if you're thinking you want a Blood Bowl fix just before Christmas, then do come down to that. You'll be playing some teams that you will not play the same game twice.
I love this event. This is always like the best one, in my opinion. I mean, they're all great, but just having the mixed teams here is
it's
mental. You see some like really broken combos.
Yeah, and
so good.
I'm even more confident that if we can stream October, we can probably stream November. But we'll see. No promises, but we've got 3 months. I think we can do this. We've got 4 months.
No excuses.
Yeah, I know, right? No excuses at all. So Bonehead Bowl is Saturday the 26th of November. South Coast Autumn is Saturday the 22nd of October, which is 11s, and the 23rd is 7s. So if you want to play 11s, we've got a tournament for you. If you want to play 7s, we've got a tournament for you. If you want to play 11s using your Dungeon Bowl team, we've got a tournament for you. And then it's going to be Christmas, and then it's going to be January, where everyone's poor anyway, and then it's going to be February, where we're back with Beachhead. But we've got a little bit of time before talking about that. So yes, tournaments. Come play Blood Bowl with us. We love it. Now, there is a couple of Kickstarters. One Kickstarter to talk about today, which is the Charlie Victor Thick Skull Fantasy Football Carry Cases. Have you checked out the Kickstarter for this yet?
Oh, I haven't. I didn't realize it had launched.
Yes. And we have preview copies.
Oh, didn't know that.
They are insane, dude. They're
huge.
This is the smaller one. Like,
okay.
They are suitcases.
Oh no, okay, sorry. I think it was the angle. It looked like a briefcase. Like,
it is a briefcase. It's like a briefcase.
Oh, really?
Size. Yeah, you can fit your pitch in there. You've got your whole team. It comes with it's Charlie Victor. It's amazing. Like,
it's quality. Charlie Victor is like premium.
Unnecessarily good quality. I think it's probably the best way to say it. Now, I had a chat with Duncan earlier today, and he was like, because we've done a preview video for the Kickstarter, and he was like, Ben, please, have I just opened the help page? Did I mash F1?
I was wondering where you're going with that.
I think I did, yeah. I think I did. He was like, yeah, please let people know that I probably won't be stocking these after the Kickstarter. And having seen the box that contained just 2 of them, it makes a lot of sense. He was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to maintain any stock. So if you are in the market for what has to probably be described as the ultimate Blood Bowl carry case, then you need to jump on the Kickstarter. And our Kickstarter's absolutely smashing it. 43 grand against target. 8,000. 344 people have backed it already. There's 21 days to go now. So it's wrapping up on Thursday, 18th of August. So if you're listening to this pod, we'll probably be talking about it on another video. And we'll definitely be talking about it on another podcast before then. So if you want something like this, this is the time. Price-wise, it's Charlie Victor. So it's not cheap, but it's the kind of thing. Yeah, it's the thing you need one of. So the thick skull case, which is the one I was just waving around, because the extra large one I wouldn't be able to wave around in front of the camera while with the podcast setup. I had to put the overhead mic, the overhead camera on like a higher setting. £69 for the thick skull. That one there, which has got a whole tray where you can fit a bunch of big guys in. You can basically fit 2 teams in there if you're clever about it. Like we use the cheap tabletop Titan one, tabletop Tyrant, don't we? And you kind of have to mash stuff in there, and you kind of make it work. But actually, for 70 quid, you get enough for a team. You get everything.
Yeah, this is
with it.
This is really nice. Like things just fit. And it's made for blood. It's made.
I was really surprised by how like tough it is. It feels like a suitcase. It's solid. Like
I think for the World Cup.
Oh mate, it's
traveling in the World Cup. It's
perfect for the World Cup. £79. I would recommend getting the XL. Like it is bigger. Like, did you take it on a plane? Yeah, you could take it on a plane. It is bigger, but the fact is you've got so much more space. So you can have absolutely everything in it. And for £10, it's just worth getting the even bigger one, because then you can definitely fit your 2 teams. You've got your pitch, you've got your books, it even comes with flipping dice cups. So it's just all geared out. Like it's outrageous. I couldn't believe it.
Dice cups come with?
Well, my one did. I don't know if that's just part of the
promo.
It might have been.
Thick skull.
Yeah, you see,
foam there comes with and a surprise.
Dice cups and pens not included. Okay, so those dice cups aren't included. But anyway, the fact is, you've got space there for your dice cups, and it's just awesome. Like I'm really impressed. And £80 is a lot of money, but if you are a Blood Bowl player that likes to go to tournaments, you've probably spent way more than £80 on your teams. Like, for example, if you'd backed a Punga Kickstarter, how how much do you think that would put you back?
Yeah. Especially if VAT isn't included. But, we'll have a video on that soon. Don't you worry.
Yeah, so I expected great things from Charlie Victor because everything we've seen of theirs has just been top notch. But this is something else. Like they just keep coming out with really useful things. I know it feels like I'm shilling, but I'm really not. This is just something that is just
we're more fawning.
Dude, it's just good. Like it's just straight up very, very good. Like we do show stuff off on the podcast. We get to see stuff, and if we really love it, we really talk about it. If we don't like it, we tend to just be very British and don't mention it on the show. But this is just filthy good, to be honest. So I'm really impressed. Really impressed. You got 3 weeks left.
I actually want to see it.
I'll pop your. I know because your team's all magnetized, isn't it? Anyway, there's a bunch of different stuff. There's as add-ons. You've got Dungeon Bowl adapters and stuff. It's just really well done. So link is below, and we'll have a video coming out in the next few days, probably over the weekend, because I need to edit it. And I'll edit it tomorrow when I'm back from Basingstoke, and then I'll clear it with Duncan. So yeah, probably Friday or Saturday. So by the time this podcast's out, the video's already gone live. But yeah, as for Kickstarters, that is it for now. There are some really cool Patreon teams coming out if you're an STL head. But we'll do print to pitch videos for those. My printer's playing up again, which is aggravating. I don't know why. I've just re-leveled it and cleaned it, and it's got a print on the go at the moment. So I keep getting like flat bits, and it's really aggravating. I'm like, oh yeah, it's printed, and then I'll realise that half the model underneath has just popped through a Stargate and been cut in half.
It's bound to happen. You've had such a good run. Yeah. Like you've had a flawless print back to back. You've been printing like a machine. Now it's
yeah. It's because I went on holiday. I came back and the printer's like, oh, this is fun. I can chill out now. No, you can't. I
haven't opened mine since the heat wave. I'm worried.
I think that's what did it.
Maybe
it was printing before. I probably should just get rid of the resin and try new resin. I think the appropriate thing to do would be to get a new resin vat tray.
Stop. Repair the ones you have.
I went through my accounts for the last few months, and I've only bought 2 in the last 3 months, so it's good. But I realised I must have spent about £300 worth of resin since April.
That's crazy.
I know. I was like, and another resin. I don't know, just using it, printing it. To be fair, the dungeon took a lot of resin.
Yeah, that is.
Don't know if I would recommend printing a dungeon in resin. I don't know. It was like £75 for 3 bottles of resin, and that did the dungeon and some teams. That's
not bad at all. If it was like in the days before 3D printing, that would have been great.
Yeah,
Like if you picture it
yeah.
like that, it's like, oh, you can have a whole Dungeons and Teams 35 quid.
Yeah, done.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Anyway, there is a little bit of Games Workshop news, and this is what I really want to get your thoughts on, Ben. So we haven't really spoken about the Amazon team on the show. That's not fair. We did. It was just horrific. So we've got the Amazon release. We're going to start with the newest bit of news because we haven't talked really about it on the podcast. And this is the new star player, whose name I really struggle with. I even Googled how to pronounce it earlier, and it wasn't helpful. So Estelle Loveno. I'm just going to commit to Britishness here, where we just pronounce things with, like, you know. Anyway, Estelle Monge 2 is the new star player from for Amazon's, and do you want to start? Do you want to take this one away?
This is a weird one, isn't it? This is a weird one.
That's very polite.
Yeah, I think it's probably the weakest Blood Bowl model that Games Workshop has made, at least in recent time. Just I think the model is cool. I just nothing about it for me is Blood Bowl. I think it's like a cool model that would be like great as like
If this
in
was
like
Malifaux or something.
Yeah, Malifaux. Something with like that kind of like theme of like kind of like weird witchy, like it's not so much about like the witch. It's just like there is so much going on this character who doesn't look like a star player. You know what I mean? Like this is a star player. Why? What makes this person a star player? Don't President Guard? Why?
All right. So there is a cool fluffy element to it. The idea is that she's a hermit living in the jungle. She's basically a swamp Disney princess villain, and which is fine. And to protect Lustria somehow, she's a witch that has loads of frog friends. We don't understand what. I don't understand. I don't think the frog friends are really explained. And she's taken to the Blood Bowl pitch to protect her home. But again, she's decided the best way to protect her home is to rise to Blood Bowl stardom.
And it even says for reasons known only to her.
Yeah.
Like, it's such weak lore. Which is a shame, because I think the model is fantastic in terms of like an artistic standpoint. It looks like Moonstone. I think that's what it is. This looks like it could be in like Moonstone. Like the sort of style and like the whimsical nature of it, and like the proportions are awesome. Whoever sculpted this is very, very talented.
The proportions, the individual like technical sculpting is really, really good. And to be fair, the technical painting is really good. The shading on the on the shoulder frog is excellent. But there's just a vibe about this model that it just, like you've called it, actually, you've got it right. This doesn't feel in any way, shape, or form like a Blood Bowl model. Like it's got the Amazon armor, but other than that, I inadvertently described her as the Blood Bowl Karen because I thought she's got the, like, to describe the pose, she's walking to find the manager. Like,
oh yeah,
yeah. So this is like that weird shopping cart lady that wants to come and complain because you're out of stock of her favorite bootleg moonshine. Like this is something that I've had to contend with in my historic career. But I think I also said that she looks like she smells, which I think is again a testament to the paint job and everything, and the fact that she's this weird swamp witch. Anyway, not what I was expecting. It will be a great canvas for painting. Like you can see that because, like you said, it's a very well executed model. Oh my god, it's stylized. There we go.
There you go.
It's very stylized.
I think it's the first one we've had for Games Workshop. I like.
It is more cartoony than Games Workshop models.
Like Scylla is pretty stylized, but I think Scylla works. Scylla looks like he's in Blood Bowl.
Yeah, Scylla and Max are very they are cartoony, but they're cartoony
they capture the vibe of Blood Bowl.
Yeah, right? They're cartoony like 2000 AD cartoony.
It's metal, isn't it?
Yeah, this is cartoony like Maleficent, you know?
Yeah, whimsical fantasy.
Whimsical Disney.
Yeah.
All right, what about the rule set for her? Her skills include Disturbing Presence and Guard, which combined with an Amazonian level of agility make her a great supporting player. So first of all, Amazonian level of agility, Ben. What do
The
you
second
think
time they said this.
it is?
Getting ad.
Are they going to land at Edge 2? Is that what's
I
happening?
don't think they'll. I don't think that they might make a couple, but we'll talk about the team in a second. They don't particularly look at.
I think that's just basic editing. Like they
Maybe.
mean because of dodge. So I think this player looks strength 3, likely to have dodge, guard, disturbing presence. Okay, so having guard is really useful on Amazon team. A strength 3 player with no combat skills with guard is likely to just get punched in the face. I think is definitely a bit of a vulnerability, but really cool special power. So before adding her stranger powers into the mix, using esoteric lore from deep within the swamps, Estelle can place a baleful hex on an opposing player at a critical moment, potentially removing them from the game for a turn. So she's got a special ability, Baleful Hex. Once per game, at the beginning of Estelle's activation, choose an opposition player within 5 squares, which is for huge, right? That's like the entire middle of the pitch. On a 2+, that player loses their tackle zone and cannot be activated until the end of the opposition's next team turn.
Wow, that's crazy. There's like a super hypno gaze at range at the start.
Yeah, this is basically the College of Life spell.
Yeah. Yeah, it is actually, although a better use because you could benefit on yours and it also happens till the end of their next.
Yeah, and it's
Right?
when she activates, anybody within 5 squares, basically a 2+, they skip their next turn. So
And she can waltz on in a stride, take up all those tackle zones with her guard, and then you go and take the power.
That's it. Someone did say like this is going to be. I think actually you were alluding to it there with Hypno Gaze. They're like, you know what, 2+, remove the corner of the cage or whatever. She walks in, puts guard on the edge or whatever, and you just blitz someone off or whatever, and just it can be really good. The most obvious thing here is no, go for it.
I think you were going to say it. No, I was going to say the ball carrier on like turn 8.
Yeah, this is no, it's a really difficult one because like that is just
that seems
will,
OP.
That will be unfun. Like that will be playing against a blue mage, playing against Deathwatch and 40k. This is like your turn means nothing now. Like LOL on a 2+, you just don't score. Like there's nothing you can do about it. But it is once per game, and if you're going into your turn 8 needing your ball carrier to activate, you just had 8 turns to take this girl out. So
awesome.
I think it's player roundable. Like we saw Thorson for the Norse team, right? And we were like, oh, the barrel ability, like that could be amazing. This is going to be really good. When it got to the pitch, it was just so easy to play around. And the same with Ivar. Like, and Ivar's got 5 range. But this will be once per game. It will have a massive effect. It will probably allow you to score or stop your opponent from scoring.
Yeah.
How much?
I think it entirely depends on our cost. I think the fact you've got a starting present card and we can assume dodge, like it's not a huge skill package on a star, but you might be quite cheap and assuming strength 3. So yeah, if she's cheap enough, I think it's probably worth taking because even as you say, to put the stress on your opponent of like, I need to play around, and like they might have to position in ways they normally wouldn't position, maybe a bit less safe, or maybe just in a way they're not comfortable playing because they're just thinking about, well, if they stop me, if they use this ability
I've
now,
got to hurry. I'm running out of time. Definitely. Now I don't think she'll be cheap. I think she'll be 200.
Yeah.
And the kind of thought about the cost of that, like that's basically a spell, right? That's a wizard. That's a College of Life spell. That's kind of probably worth 100k. Like if there was an inducement that was 150k on a 2+, you bonehead an opponent for a turn. That would be probably the most used spell in the game.
Yeah.
So actually, if she comes in at 200, 210, maybe even more, actually, you're buying a wizard that comes with a strength 3 dodge guard piece as well. The problem is getting to that kind of 200, 250 inducement level is a bit rubbish.
I don't know if it's for Amazons though. Amazons can end up taking inducement. fairly often, right?
Because they don't need anything. Yeah, old Amazons.
Yeah, players are cheap, then they die. So
Yeah. So it could be interesting. Could be a really important star player. Now let's talk about the team, Ben. We haven't seen the rules yet. I had a prediction of the timeline of release. So what we saw from the Norse team was that when they reveal their second star player, pre-order is announced the following weekend. So we could be dropping this podcast on a Friday for our patrons, a Saturday for everybody else, and tomorrow the Amazons could be like previewed. But I mean, what do you think to the team itself?
okay, I think again the team is superbly sculpted. The proportions are excellent. I think Games Workshop has a bit of a reputation for like modeling females, especially like the face. I think they've nailed it here. I think they look really good. Some of the best female sculpts Games Workshop have done. The paint job on them is also really awesome. Now, this is where I might rant a little bit. I don't like. Think it's my least favorite team Games Workshop has made, which is a real shame because I was really looking forward to seeing their take on Amazons, and I think that's why I don't like them because I'm really disappointed. And I know that sounds really like entitled, but it's just like I was expecting so much. I was expecting greatness. There is a team that, like, especially after you see the level of detail that they've made for like Warcry warbands, where they've captured just so much like character of where they're from in the team, and it's like cohesive across the team, but they all look so unique. That's so missing. Like these look like really good infantry models for an army, like a battle. But that's not really what you want in like a blood book. So yeah,
It's weird. Like it's all technically fine. Like
yeah,
you're right. The sculpts are as classy an Amazon team as I've seen, apart from maybe the Black Scorpion ones, but that's because they've kind of got like a Wonder Woman Amazonian, not Amazonian, but like a Greek kind of vibe. I really like it. This is fine. Like the proportions, they look believable. People like that's excellent. The paint job is nice. It's fine, but they're missing. It just I don't know, and I think you may have called it actually. Like Norse was a great team that had a lot of interesting things to it, and they spiced it up, right?
yeah,
And then there's Amazons, which, no disrespect to Amazon players, it's a tough team to play. Like it's a really good learning team for positioning and for it's a great team if you're up for the consistency challenge. But for a new player or for a player looking for a new challenge or something like that, there's nothing interesting in the team. It's just like, I can take this team and I can be very disciplined and make it into the same Amazon team as everybody else's, which is 4 Blodge Guard and then a whole bunch of line women that get Blodge.
yeah,
And maybe I take a thrower in a tournament just to take leader, but I don't need it because I'm not throwing, because I'm just going to be blodging and guarding everywhere. Well, this was a great opportunity for them to be like, right, okay, and now there's a Croxagore, or actually they get this little weird frog player, because Norse had tons of character, didn't need anything, and they got beer balls. They went hard on the detail.
Valkyries.
Yeah, and hard on the theme.
Yeah,
We haven't seen the full rules yet, to be fair, but so far it's like, okay, they've added the blocker, and the blocker's got like claws, so could be a claw player. And the blitzer maybe something different. So there's a possibility here that the team's going to be different.
mm,
I just
uh,
I'm not as
yeah,
excited about it as I thought I would be. I think that's
yeah. I think I identified what I feel is missing, and it kind of seems obvious if you look at the model, but like it's like they started sculpting the armor, and it looks really ornate up at the top, and then it kind of just stopped, and then like the whole lower half is empty, and I feel like it just had like matched knee pads to match the shoulders and shoes.
where's the
I love
shin
this.
pads? Like where's the
Yeah, I just
greaves?
love this so much more. It's just like it's just so like unfinished. It feels like it's like they were going to sculpt more armor. They had the body like template, And then they just said, right, no, we got to ship this team now. It's like the weekend reveal, whatever. Like we've got to get this out. And they were just like, "I'll fine, be bare feet," which some people might love.
Now, there's still a lot of this release that we haven't seen. Like, we haven't even seen like the ball token. We haven't seen the team marker, and we haven't seen the pitch or the spike cover or the 3rd-star player. So there's still time for them to surprise us. Now, don't get me wrong. If they drop this team, there is a new positional. They've lost the catcher. The team is going to be slightly different, and that's awesome because that actually does mean that there is going to be some exploration here. Like, we are going to have to try and learn this new team, and it's going to bring a great new challenge to play against and to play with, and those people who love playing Amazons of old. Hopefully the roster will still be something that they want to play, and everyone who's played against Amazons, hopefully it'll be something different that you'll want to play against. But they have released another star that we have seen before, which was Boa Constrictor, Ben. This, like, the Amazon team dropped on the Sunday, and we were like, ooh, they haven't changed a lot. This is interesting. And then, boom, next day, released this Snake Man star player, a brand new race, sort of. Like, I think there was a Snake Man model on a Chaos Renegade, on like a Chaos team. And Snake Men have been around, but not really included in Blood Bowl in a lot of living memory, to be fair.
Before I existed, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I think I might be like a few months older than Blood Bowl. That's about it. But I love the Snake character, and I love the fact that Fanath already got a model out. Like,
and it's spectacular.
And it's an STL model as well, which I thought was awesome. What do you reckon to Boa? Boa Constrictor.
I think Boa's really cool. Right, okay, so this is, and I don't know if it helps that the body is a snake, but it's already like visually more interesting, like below. But like, I just feel like this is what it was kind of lacking, was kind of like that, like even like adding the feathers and like that. Anyway, I'll talk more. I think this is, yeah, I actually really like this model. I want more of these. I want more snake people. I know, like, Doors of King have them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I want a Snake Man team now, because
is there a secret team for Snake Man team?
There is a secret team for Snake Man team, and we did say we were going to start hitting up the Fumble Special, like Secret League, soon. I love this. I love seeing races underrepresented. So I loved it when they brought the Zote back. I loved it in Cursed City 40k, where they brought the Amble back.
Yeah.
It's just so cool when they just dip into the lore and kind of explore bits. Like, and there's a lot that they're kind of doing that in bits and pieces with Blood Bowl at the moment, and I think it's amazing because it's just like there's so much design space for them to go to. Like, they can drop a Dryad team, they can drop a Slanesh team, a Squig team, a Snake Man team. They can do what they want, and it's so good to see them like splashing out a bit. So I love this. The model, the Games Workshop model, it's cool. Like, that looks like it would be great fun to paint.
Yeah, I think this is like just sort of like simplicity. Like, this is like good. I feel like the Amazon team.
No, your audio dropped then. Very little bit.
Oh, yeah, but I spoke quietly as to not offend too many people. I've probably done it too much so fast.
No, it's cool. Right. So, as for the Amazons, what's your guess on pre-order Sunday? Which Sunday are they going to announce it?
Oh, I think we've got a couple more yet.
You reckon we got a couple more?
Yeah, I reckon it's going to be middle.
So if they announce it this Sunday on the 31st, that means pre-orders go live on the 6th, and the team will come out on the 13th. So
I don't know. Maybe. What was the Norse like?
It should be. I think the Norse. I think we're already a week behind Norse.
Oh wow! Okay.
Because of the war cry. But I think it was because Norse landed. They did the preview. The following Monday they did a star. The next Monday they did another star. Then the Sunday they did the team preview, and then they dropped it. We had a different Monday in between, so we're one Monday behind. So this is why I reckon. It's funny because I dropped a video on Monday morning being like, I reckon 25th we'll have a star player, and then Sunday the 31st we'll have the pre-order announcement. Monday the 25th, Old Swamp Cruella landed, and then so I don't know. I reckon I reckon they're going to push it. I reckon they're going to just lump it out. But Trips has pointed out that I think the Warcry one is a 2-weeker. So
yeah, it's a big old
Yeah.
boy.
so maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. It'll be interesting. So I'm gonna be positive. I'm gonna say, boom, Sunday we're gonna get the preview. We're gonna have a 3rd-star player, and we'll find out whether or not they're getting a big guy. And then they're not getting a big guy, but I can still hope. Right, I think we've covered everything for Blood Bowl news, so we'll take a quick break and be right back. Let's press this button. Okay, so hobby, games, buying, printing, breaking. Ben, I still had COVID on Saturday, so I missed our Twilight Imperium session. How was it?
Oh, dude, it was so good. I love that game so much. Only the second time I played, but man, we went all in.
Yeah, you guys had some costumes on the go and everything.
Yeah, that's why my hair is a lot shorter, because I had to shave half of it to join the Mentat Coalition.
Just for the
playing
amazing
a space pirate. I had my jumpsuit, prison jumpsuits, like prison pirates. They're basically the Australia of space, and had a nice cape and then an eye patch, and yeah, what a time! Yeah, we had 5 people playing, and between 4 of us, it was like cutthroat at the end. But the last few turns, everyone was just like at each other's throat to win. It was so close. It could have been anyone's game. Simon just sneakily like stalled out everyone else and then just won at the end. Just mopped up everything. None of us could do anything else and then won. So,
Simon absolutely knows how to play. Like,
yeah,
he's a bit of a board game pro. So no, I'm gutted. I love chunky games, and I love
anything
sci-fi
you control a fleet, right? You know, you're in charge of an entire fleet. But, like,
it was perfect. It was perfect, and I missed out. Ooh, wrong keyboard. I mean, too many keyboards. Yeah, so I was gutted to have missed out on that. But what else have you been playing apart from TI4? There's your pirate costume. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. I made that shoulder pad from just some spare packaging foam and painted it. It's like employing the terrain building into a.
So good. It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I continued the league. Had another league game. 3 games in, 3 wins on the go. Still keeping the top of the table.
Top of the table.
Yeah.
With Skaven.
Doing you proud, Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're going really, really well. I really like Skaven. I had a game against them. So it was a game last night in the league, 3rd game. Despite having won a couple of games, I only had 30k on him because I lost a few players. But that first half, he received the ball and just completely grinded me down. He kept the ball safe. I ended up having to do a couple of risky 2-die up blitzes with gutters to try and get the ball off of him. Couldn't do it. He then surfed my good gutter, my block gutter, and half my team was on the other side of the pitch. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to try and punch you. And so it was just a brawl. Didn't go well for me. He got a 1-0 after the first half. And then, because he received, I had the last turn 8, and it was a riot. And we both got a turn back, and the look of despair on his face when that riot came up, because it was just like, right, I'm Gutter's technically movement 11, right? And even though I positioned it quite far back, I got the ball, moved them up, and then he tried it, and I just did some gutter nonsense and scored. So I was equalised in the first half. As you can see, nothing happened in the first half, and in the second half, sure, we'll talk about Tourplay in a minute. But the second half was that was when Skaven came into their own. So even after the battering, and I'd had loads of players knocked out, I got down to 5 players, and with those 5 players, I got 2 more touchdowns. So
seriously, as long as you play to your outs with Skaven, they're never off. The team is never off.
As long as you have a gutter runner,
yeah,
you can do anything. especially if you have a thrower with them.
Have you got
Like,
have you got 4 rostered?
no, I had 2, but I was able to buy 1 after this game. So 1 got taken out missing its game. Lost. I believe they lost. No, they didn't lose a stat. I've got a couple that lost that.
Missed next game for that dude.
Oh yeah, I've just got a
Missed next game for one of your blitzers.
Yeah, so that's gonna suck having only 1 blitzer. But the Rat Ogre pulled his weight. He took out 2 Bloodseekers.
So you've only got 1 gutter now on your roster because one's missed next game.
I bought another one.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's not on there yet.
Yeah, it is there. Number 14.
Oh, there's 2. There are 2 gutter runners right there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So okay,
you're only 1 gutter away from full lineup.
Yeah, and that gutter runner got 20 SPP after that game. The 3 touchdowns, and I got a stat up, but rolled low. You can't take movement on them anymore.
You can't take movement. No,
I know. I was so surprised. I was like, "Oh, let's take movement then." Oh no, you can't. So I, chose a secondary. Got 2 heads. So dodge block 2 heads.
Gone are the days of movement 10, sprint, sure feet, escape, and 1-turn touchdowns. And I think that's the right move. But I don't think people appreciate how much gutter runners got nerfed. Like their movement
they're still great.
Their passing got nerfed by 2, and they are still in the top 5 players in the game. Like
absolutely,
they're just amazing. I absolutely love it. Oh, you've got.
I feel like they should. Yeah, I feel like gutters should lose general access. I think they should be edge only. Getting block on them so early is just too easy, and it makes them so good.
Yeah, but you don't have to build them to have block because there's so many other skills that they.
There are, but I feel like as soon as that guy, as soon as he got block, he's just been a machine. The others, or the other one, just
Sneaky Git. What happened with Sneaky Git? Did you?
I rolled a random edge.
Oh no! Oh, that's horrid.
I was hoping to get anything. I was gonna build him into something, depending on what the random edge gave, and then they got Sneaky Git.
Well, now he's a movement 9 fouling piece. At least he can take Dirty Player on another general.
I don't think I'm good.
And he got passing busted. This guy.
That was it. Yeah, he got passing busted.
He's gonna. Yeah, he's probably. Gutter runners are very replaceable as well. Like you end up with 4. Like I've been through this many times. I've got several Edge 5 gutter runners in my time, and when they die, it's fine because you've still got 3 other gutter runners rostered. And to be fair, Ben, you are right. As soon as they get 1 skill up, unless it's Sneaky Git, they're really good players. You take Wrestle, they're a ball hawk. You take Sure Hands, they become an absolute pro runner. You give them anything. There's a ton of great skills for gutters.
I think I'm going to go Wrestle on the next one.
Yeah.
Maybe if I get one, I think I might have a sprint sure feet one, just they could be super movement.
Yeah, and then you can use the 1-turn touchdown this game is really easy as well.
Yeah,
really easy, especially if you've got the Roger, because you get that frenzy 2-block shove around. But then again, when you got sprint, I think it's only 1 square you need to shove somebody. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, I got Fumlarooski on that thrower. That's never getting used. That's some 10k bloat.
Oh yeah, you did.
That was random passing. They're all going to be good except Fumlarooski.
Well, he's got on the ball though as well.
Yeah, so I rolled random passing again and got on the ball.
Okay,
I was just hoping for. Okay, in hindsight, this guy's modeled with a cannon, and I'm just why didn't I just get Cannoneer? Because that's the only time it really makes sense.
Okay, so you spent 20k. Do you know what? On the ball is a perfectly acceptable skill to take.
I think on the ball will be really useful. Actually.
But if you'd saved up and taken that at 20k, you would have had the same team value. So the fact he's just got Fumlarooski for free. If you think about it like that, he's paid 1 more SPP than he would have done normally, and you've got Fumlarooski for free. So
which you're never.
You hope you don't use it.
Is there? Okay, tell me. I know this is a real tangent. Is there a use case for Fumlarooski? I've been trying to think it through. Is there any time you'd actually want to do that? The only time I can think is
where's my rulebook?
I can't
remember what it does.
It's basically you while moving, you can drop the ball in the square and carry on, and it doesn't cause a turnover. It's the only time is if you have a giant or a big guy who happens to get the ball. You don't want him to have the ball.
No.
Hand off.
It's a running pass that cannot cause a turnover. So if you need to move that thrower up to fill a gap, you drop the ball off behind him,
Okay.
you fill the gap. Okay, fine, you've got to pick up the ball, but you don't. There's no chance of a turnover. So
Yeah, and because you can't move after. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, so you can go and drop this ball in 2 Skaven tackle zones and the Rat Ogre's tackle zone, and then carry on with your life. So as a time stall, it can work. And if you are down on players, which sounds like is a frequent thing for your team, then actually there may be an opportunity for you to be right. I'm going to move this up rather than hand off to the gutter and then leave myself open. I can run in, set up a side cage, drop the ball on one square, and then the gutter runner can run through. Maybe it's a stretch.
Yeah,
There.
and then you can assist. Okay, no, that actually helps. I hadn't really considered about using the thrower as like an assist. Yeah, I usually keep him out of harm's way because I value this
definitely. You're not supposed to do this kind of stuff with throwers. This is the interesting thing about the Amazon team. Like, the throwers have got snakes, so there's like a whole bunch of people going. Maybe they'll have hypnogaze. Maybe they'll have stab. Maybe they'll have prehensile tail. I'm one of these people, by the way. I think that they've got a snake model. They're called Python warrior throwers. They must have something special. All of those skills worse than dump off. All of them. That's not fair. I actually think dump off is the worst skill in the game, and it's a controversial take.
Oh, I wanted dump off. Anyway, Kara.
Stab has a purpose, right? But all of these skills leave your thrower in base contact, which is bad. So it's like if they end up with a skill that befits something interesting, it's going to be a really interesting balancing point, because you're like, yeah, I've got stab, but if I move my thrower up and stab you, it's like Eldril when he goes up and hypnogazes somebody. I'm going to stand up and hypnogaze. If it doesn't work, he's about to die. And it's going to be the case. And that's it. With throwers, you don't want them, especially the Skaven thrower. You only need one on the team, and he's just there. And the fact you've got on the ball now, Ben, means that this guy's movement 10 on every time you receive the ball. Movement 10 with a 2++ pass, like 13 squares. That's the entire back half. This guy is sorted. There is nowhere that ball will go now. He can't get it in the first turn. And then 6 squares on a 3++ to a gutter runner who's catching on a 2+. It's awesome.
Pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. I loved what did it used to be called on the ball? Kick-off return?
Kick-off return, yeah. And it's also got pass as well, hasn't it now?
So. Yeah, exactly. So when your opponent does pass, don't forget that your thrower gets an extra 3 squares of movement for free.
Yeah.
So
pretty handy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's great. He's got like super on the ball, where he can put the ball on the ground.
Yeah.
No, wicked. So some seriously good gaming. Hobby. I haven't really had a chance to do much. Kind of came back to work from holiday, and work has been real busy. COVID meant me and Tiff were kind of social pariahs for a bit, because even though everyone's like vaccinated and it's safe and stuff like that, you don't want to go out. You still feel really like bad. And actually, Tiff and I have been quite poorly. Tiff's still not 100%. She's just a bit wiped out. Like, it's fine. So not really had a chance to do anything. Us recording on the Wednesday means that the Thursday, Tiff works late night. That's when we normally record. I actually get an evening to do something. I'll probably do some videos or something. But for me, I haven't really been. Yeah, it's been a bit of a quick turnaround, and not a huge amount's been going on, mate. Anything else exciting for you?
Hobby wise, I picked up an Ossiarch Bone Reaper army yesterday. That was good. I just someone on Facebook, buy and sell, was like selling a Bone Reaper army for £80, and it's like nearly 3,000 points. And then when he turned up, he was like, "Oh, I just threw in the faction terrain as well. You can have it."
Oh my god, that's amazing! Were you in the market for a new Age of Sigmar army, or was this just one?
Not
of those,
really.
Like...
It's something I'm planning on. I've already stripped some of it down, strip, repaint, Bellon. Yeah. So like, wanted to give that a try at some point. Just sort of selling some stuff. So I just thought, why not?
After painting 4,000 points of Space Undead, why not get?
Well,
Fantasy
they're
Undead?
still right in front of me as well. Working on them. That was my hobby update. It's just more Necrons. So always Necrons.
Absolutely wicked. Right, yeah. So it's the bye week next week, isn't it? I'm planning to be back at club next month, and I cannot wait to start binging some Blood Bowl. And then obviously the Amazon's going to be out in the next few weeks as well, so we're going to want to get some Amazon games in. I mean, hopefully your Amazon team will have arrived by then, Ben.
Hopefully. It just left Bahrain a couple of hours ago.
Amazing.
So
How many
that's on
teams
the
have
way.
you got coming?
5.
Oh my god! I
It's a
thought you had
5-team order
3. I
from
was about
Canada.
to take the mick
No.
out of having 3. What did you get then?
I got Amazons North, Old Amazons and Old Norse. Chaos
hilarious.
Dwarf. Fortunately, the Amazons come with Valkyries, which you can shove in the North team.
Oh,
They look
perfect.
the part.
Perfect.
So, yeah. The Amazons Norse, Chaos Dwarf, Kislev, so plan,
Ooh.
and Khemri.
Their Khemri team's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's the first one I'm going to paint up. And that's probably what I'll run in the next league.
Oh man, I love that. In the time since you backed that Kickstarter, 2 of the rosters have changed.
I know. Fortunately, looking at them, like Norse is
Yeah.
fine. They've already, you can get beer balls now.
Yeah.
In fact, I have them in front of me, so I can get them from there.
Oh, perfect.
And yeah, and the Amazon one looks like
Amazon should be fine unless
Like,
they.
the team looks as vanilla as anything anyway. So
Well, actually, this is a good point. One last question before we move on to our topics, though. The Amazon team, the roster, not the roster, the box has got 2 blitzers, 2 blockers. Is that going to be it, or is it going to be a 2-box team?
I have to see.
No, you're
Like, if it's anything like the last one.
Come on.
I don't think it will. I don't think it will.
I don't think it will either. I know that, like, because I went on a bit of a rampage and was like, yeah, all the recent teams have been 1-box teams. They haven't. Like Khorne, you've got the Khorne Gores, the expansion, but like, I kind of thought about Nobility. They've got 2, 2, 2, but yeah,
a 2-4-2, isn't it?
Yeah, but on the sprues they've got 2, 2, 2, 2. And you need 4 bodyguards. And
you get 4 bodyguards.
Do you get 4 bodyguards?
Yeah, you get one of each type per sprue. You get everything in Nobility. You just end up like needing more linemen.
Oh, you're right.
You only get 4 linemen. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. So does that mean that Khorne is the only team that have been released in Blood Bowl 2020 that's needed 2 boxes?
Technically, yeah. If you need 4 cores, yeah.
Nobility are good. Black Orcs are good. Snotlings, all right. You need trolls, but big guys don't count.
No. Norse were good.
Norse were complete with the exception of the big guy. Khorne, the Khorne Gores are the only ones, but that's like having 4 catches. Like that's kind of like you build towards it, right?
I think I'd rather have the extra linemen in a Khorne team than 2 more Gores. You're, competing for that.
Yeah, definitely, because you need that flexibility at cost. This is why I really want Amazons to have a big guy, is because then you get that flexibility of starting roster. Because that's so cool in Nobility, isn't it? It's like, right, am I going 4 bodyguards?
There's loads of ways, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That would be something I'd be really excited to see with Amazons, is if they've got a couple of different rosters. If there's just one, it's kind of like, it's just a bit flat. It's like dwarves. Like there's 2 rosters. Do you know what? There's probably more flexibility in the dwarf roster than there is going to be in the Amazon roster, unless they change it up a bit. Because
I think so, yeah.
Dwarves, at least you can be suboptimal and take a death roller because it's fun and it's something different. But if there's no change in an Amazon roster other than to take all line women and 6 rerolls, it's just not exciting.
And like elves, isn't it? Elves have that problem.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, exactly. Elves. Anyway, there's some cool teams coming this month. Chorfs from Torchlight and a new kid on the block, Ugni, are dropping a pretty decent high elf team as well.
Ooh, are they?
Yes.
Take a look at that.
Yeah. So that'll be out next week. So we'll have that. Punga are doing goblins as well. They're nice. They're night goblin-esque. I do like my Torchlight goblin team, but Punga spoiler was for just night goblins.
Okay. Well, there's a night goblin secret team. That's quite exciting.
Dude, I want night goblins in standard Blood Bowl.
Yeah, it does. Everyone loves night goblins. They're the best kind of goblin.
They're the best kind. Yeah, they're great fun.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, that probably does it for Hobby and Bits and Bobs. So we are going to talk leagues. Okay, so if you like Blood Bowl, you can play a one-off match, and it's great fun. You can go to a tournament and play a bunch of one-off matches with a set roster, and it's really fun. But if you like Blood Bowl, I think it's inarguable that the best way to play is, other than obviously Blood Bowl Sevens, is a full-on Blood Bowl league, right, Ben?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Tournaments are great, but personality of a league, gripping in it.
Your team develops, your players develop. There are storylines within the league itself. This team's beat this team. This guy
Hmm.
died. I'm having a miserable time. This guy's stopped going. You know, there's an element to it. I think a big part of it is the time. Like things need to exist for a period of time to actually matter. So I am jazzed because the NFL is coming back, right? Which means that for 4 months, 5 months actually, there's this thing that exists. And actually, if you think about how quick like FOMO is now, Ben, it could be like, oh my god, there's this new release coming, and then before the release has even dropped, you're on to the next thing that hasn't been released yet, and it kind of like life moves on. But when you've got like a Blood Bowl league or something that takes place over the course of months, if you aren't there that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's gonna be there Friday. Like it's gonna be there Saturday. And if you can't make it to club night, you're gonna be able to a couple of days later catch up with the guys and be
Hmm.
like, what happened? You're gonna be able to use something like Google Sheets or Tourplay to be able to look at the standing when you're ready. And it's that ever present bit, I think, that slower, more full encompassing thing about a league that makes it just something really special.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is just we've talked about it before of like the game outside the game, right?
Yeah.
Where you just get that with a league. You like one of my favorite times is always like yeah after a Blood Bowl night has happened, and then everyone's yeah like you say catching up with each other, being like, how was your game? What happened there? Oh, you lost like that guy like lost my rat ogre. That was great fun to tell everyone. Like it's so jazzed about this rat ogre I painted up, and then he dies in the first like half. Yeah, and yeah, no, it's just it's the stories, the stories.
It is. It is. But so we thought we'd spend a little bit of time because we wanted to talk through Tourplay. So we'll do that in a minute. And like we kind of said at the beginning of the episode, we've got this little blip of calm space where we can talk about evergreen topics. And League is probably the most evergreen of topics. So we're going to talk through just a few things to consider if you're going to be joining a league or running a league. Just kind of we're gonna have a casual, chill conversation and just talk through what's gone well, what's not gone well, what we think is pretty important. So, I mean, we've got some show notes there, Ben, but straight away off the top of your head, what's the most important thing to start with when you're kind of starting a league? Do you reckon? Excuse me.
Uh, I don't know, players,
Yeah,
people to do it with. Yeah.
actually, that's a really that yeah. We haven't even got that one on the list. Actually, we kind of assumed you've got players, but no, you're bang on. You need to test to see if there's a market for it. So we've restarted Wobble after a little bit of a hiatus. My goal was to start it, and then obviously the whole hospital thing happened. So Ian carried on, but you know we spent a month beforehand being like, hey, you know, this is what we're thinking for the league. Who's in, and actually garner some interest, garner some questions. And I think you have to have like a 4 week lead time to let people know that their league is coming, so that you can get players who are interested. Um, and that kind of falls into the first bullet point I put on there, which was about timeline, which is like publicizing it ahead of time so that people know when it's starting and how long it's going to go on for. Because league length, Ben, can be one of the most impactful things for Blood Bowl, can't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially real life commitments and things like that. Like not like asking people to play every week is sometimes actually quite a big ask. That's quite a commitment that you'll have to take out of their lives.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I agree, and that's for you and me. Like, you know, let's be fair. In the world of responsibilities and commitments, right now, we're pretty easygoing. I think.
There's a reason why we can do the podcast. Like
Yeah,
you don't have to run out and get a child every
but I still can't make league week every single week. You know, I've got job, I've got family, I've got things crop up. So we have this kind of open format in Wobble and we've limited the amount of games per month as well. But the first thing you need to do is get your players, like Ben said. And the second thing you need to do is determine a start and a stop date, because that will help gauge how many weeks and how many games you're likely to get in. I mean, what do you think the shortest amount of games for a league would be, Ben?
Shorter?
The smallest amount of games for a league?
Probably 6, I reckon.
Yeah, I think I agree. Like, you can do a mini league at 4, but that's really
Yeah.
you're not going to be developing your team in any way, shape, or form.
At 4 before playoff.
Yeah. I think that's the small. I think 6 is a short league, right?
Yeah.
8 is still quite short, but it becomes a bit long, and that kind of goes back into the thing about how many games you can play a month. Well, one thing we found in our leagues previously is that there are some people who are lucky and can go and play 4 games a month, and there are some people that can only go every other week. And actually, if you come and you're on game 3 and your opponent's on game 6 or 7, it's the skills and stuff can be a bit stretched, and also if you've got a game, like a number of games cap on your league, then actually it can mean that by month 3, if you've only got 3 or 4 games in, everyone else may have completed their 6, and you're kind of knackered. So we've put this rule in this one, which is 2 games a month max. You can run 2 teams and come every week, no problem at all. But to kind of keep it more accessible for drop-ins, dropouts, actually it slows it down, and we've set like a 4-month timetable on it. So that's realistically everyone's going to be able to get 6 to 8 games in by turning up every other week.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's way more accessible, don't you?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I remember like even like coming into the first league, and you bring a fresh team against, like you say, like a fully skilled up dwarf team that's on like 1500 TV, and you're just like, well, what can I do?
Yeah.
And it can be quite really off-putting. So yeah, it's good to have this cap, and it encourages people to play more teams. Like I've maxed out my games this month. I'm gonna go and bring another team in if I really want to play more games. So yeah,
I think it helps with kind of like this. You just bought another game system army, right? That means that actually, if you've got 4 club nights a month, you skip one because you've got family, you play 2 Blood Bowl games, and then you play another game of something different, or you bring a different team, or you play a game of Age of Sigmar on week 3, and you're not you're not tied down. Now, if you are in a place where everybody loves Blood Bowl, every single week is a Blood Bowl game, then that's just the absolute flipping dream. But actually, I think in a 4-week period, one day to play a different game, one day to stay at home and earn points with the other half, 2 games to keep up with the league. And if you're not there, there's like you said, Ben, that game outside of the game, where you can talk about what happened. And this is why we're going to talk about Tourplay in a second, because actually it's a really cool way of doing it. But that's what your timeline is. That's what's so important about your league, is agree with your players how many games, agree the cap, agree when your playoffs are going to be, agree how the playoffs are going to be. And then I think at the beginning of a league, it's always worth discussing redrafting as well.
mm-hmm.
I mean, what are your thoughts on the redrafting process, Ben?
I think it's pretty elegant. I was chatting to Ian, who's maintaining our Tourplay for this league. I was chatting to him, and he said it's really grown on him. It's not really punishing on the players who want to take it, but kind of fair on new players. Like I remember there's always been some issues with redrafting in the past where people can just like it's hard to strike that balance between people keeping their team that they've kind of just developed, especially if it was a short league or you haven't really got a chance to play with them. Getting a balance between using the stuff and not obliterating everyone else. So I think this has been done really well. We've got this Underworld team who's a redrafted team, and it seems to be fair. Quite a scary gutter, but so do I.
Yeah, they're at like 1150 or 1200 or something. Because the most important thing about Blood Bowl is that you can retain what you've got. But actually, the current redrafting rules are really good at kind of allowing it to still be competitive.
Mhm.
But your mileage will absolutely vary, and your climate will absolutely vary. I know that Milton on the Isle of Wight, like there's some teams there that have been being played since before color televisions, like, and they've got all the stats, and it's like, actually, you know what? If I've been playing, a D&D campaign for 5 years, and then someone was like, "Oh yeah, we're going to start a new campaign, and all your characters die," that's harsh. And
Yeah.
actually, the same is true of Blood Bowl to an extent. But I mean, in the time in the before times, Ben, like I had an awesome Skaven team, and in season 2 or 3, I would have been gutted to lose it. But by season 4, you're kind of like, you know what, it's fine. Like I've had my shot, I've had my cycle, and the 2020 reset was a really good opportunity for all those big bad teams to kind of be retconned. Yeah, it's almost like with Spider-Man. Like you go through the first 3 movies, and then all of a sudden there's a new cast. And it works really well. So yes, get your players.
In the case of Spider-Man.
Yeah, I like the most recent Spider-Man best of.
Oh, you're fighting against Tobey Maguire there.
Um,
I've got this plant behind me. Hang on, it's got to be the other side. I can't see it. I've got a spider plant behind me named Toby, named after Spider-Man. So I'll have you know,
but we can agree that the
place in my
second
heart.
Spider-Man was the creepiest, weirdest one. Like
Oh yeah, Andrew
I love
Garfield.
Emma Stone, but that was just
Yeah, too much.
weird. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, it was like Salad Fingers was a superhero. It was that it was that level of uncomfortable.
the lip licking and things like weird.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
very strange. So yeah, timeline, players, frequency, how often you're meeting up, whether you're going to allow people to play at home or play differently. I mean, we have Wobble players from Poole, and you're in Whiteley, like on the way to Fareham, Portsmouth, and
Mhm.
Sam's from like Shirley and stuff. So actually, there's a lot of people that travel half an hour.
Good and day.
Yeah, but like you need to agree whether or not you're allowing people to play outside of club. So you and Sam
Yeah.
yesterday, because actually you live closer than club to each other,
Yeah.
made sense for you to actually just chill out and play a game there, right?
Yeah, it was great. Rocked out the board game table, stuck on the mood lighting. It was very sunny, so we put on orange. And yeah, it's
Cool.
fantastic. I had a great time.
And I'm hoping to be able to pick up a game against Trips in Entoyment. I can just go over there because he lives near Entoyment, and we can go play a league game there. And having all that stuff is really important. But I guess the next thing is like discussing whether or not you're going to have a fixed timetable or an open timetable. Now, Ben, you kind of touched on a fixed timetable and some of the challenges in that one. I want to open up a bit about fixed like matches and stuff.
Okay, full disclosure, if this is in show notes, I don't have
there's one show notes document. It's got all the episodes in.
Oh, it's a living document now.
Yeah.
That's why I'm just like here trying to wing a script.
And it's been live since episode 91. It's 97 now.
Dude, that's why you never send them to me anymore. I'm there like every week just being just like, what was I supposed to say on this?
All right, that's my bad.
I explain a lot. No,
but we're talking about like fixed. This is how we started at Wobble. It was a case of, but then we only had like 6 players, so it was like round robin. This is the schedule. Week 2 you're playing James. Week 3 you're playing Ben. Week 4 you're playing Craig. And I feel like with smaller player counts, that's fine. But when you've got a bigger amount of players, they recommend that if you want to do a round robin, you split into divisions. And I mean, I love that kind of stuff because it's like we did divisions for a 1 season in Wobble, and it was really interesting. But it's not really necessary. We've moved to an open match, which is Ian will post up on a Monday, like, hey, who's coming to club on Tuesday, and you post up saying I'm coming to club, and then Ian will just randomize the matches using Tourplay. So actually, like, it's awesome. So if you can't make it, then it's fine. It's not like, oh, I've got to play Ben this week, and I'm not going to make it, which means we need to reschedule. Like, that's absolutely fine. And if you're invested at a level, then it's okay. But I feel like when it comes to player bases, Ben, like when it's small, it's okay. But when you hit that middle zone of like 7 to 17, it becomes almost impossible to line up matches.
Yeah, it really does. It's hard to do it fair as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because if your opponent can't, like, if we can't go on week 3, well, what do you do? Like, do you shuffle all the matches around? Do you just, like, James can't play a game that day? Like, oh, I'm sorry, your coach hasn't come up, even though you can come on that Tuesday and we could probably sort a match out. We're going to say no, and you're going to have to find another night to play. It doesn't fit with us at Wobble because we are kind of quite relaxed. But actually, if you're going into a league or a D&D campaign or whatever, or Arkham Horror, then actually you've got a set night. Then actually it's perfectly manageable. But it's just
yeah.
about either you as the commissioner saying to the guys, right, what is it we want to do? Or if you're starting a new league, publicizing clearly what you're going to do so that players can opt in and out, but just
Hmm.
be super aware that real life happens. Like, I was super excited to come to club on Tuesday, drafted a new team because I was like, yeah, actually, I'm going to play Black Orcs. It's going to be wicked. And then all hell broke loose at work. And I was just like, I can go to club, but I'm going to be so stressed about work that I'm gonna
You're not really
be.
going to enjoy it.
Yeah, well, it was just like I'm gonna have to work after I've played Blood Bowl, and that means I'm gonna be doing 8 in the morning till 11 at night. And I was like, from a well-being point of view, I think it's best that actually I skip Blood Bowl for a night
Hmm.
because that's what you have to do. Like, if you want to maintain wellness and well-being or whatever, you kind of got to balance what is really important. And sometimes you're gonna have to skip a night of Blood Bowl.
These things.
And if you've got 20 something, we've got like 26 teams in our league,
Yeah,
that's
pretty
you're probably
intense.
going to have 2 to 3 coaches that are going to have something come up every week because that's just what happens in life. So yeah, you can have an open thing, you can set a fixed schedule, or you can do the kind of halfway house, which I think is what Entoyment did then, where you kind of go, you have to play everybody once, do it in any order, book your own games, have your games. Like, you've got 10 weeks, there's 6 players, so each of you sort of match against each other within the next 10 weeks. Go. I mean, what do you think about that mechanic?
I think that's pretty cool. However, without kind of like the restriction of like this, like a club night or 3 games per month, you're going to have some people who just blitz through all of that like really quickly, and then be like, now, and have to wait for everyone to catch up, or wait till playoffs, or have to get another team. At which point you're sort of shortening the pool, so there's going to be some people who don't play 2 teams, and then it's eventually. I just feel like spreading it out kind of keeps the league kind of moving consistently.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch it grow. Like here, sure, we've got some teams have 3 games, some teams have 1, but it's not going to get much more different than this. And so the standings are kind of open to change. Otherwise, if you have someone who's like, they've played 7 games here, they're
Yeah.
going to be at the top, most likely, or likely to be at the top, and then they're not really moving.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's very interesting.
They stop for 2 months.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I actually quite like the way we're doing it. It means that
I like it.
actually, me, who I love Blood Bowl, but actually I've been too poorly to come to club. Actually, I've missed the first month of the league. I'm only 3 games behind you, like, and that's
Yeah.
fine. I can book a free game and then go to club twice, and I'm only going to be a game and a half behind, and that means I can play catch up, and it's actually going to be all right. So I love that as well. The next bit we got is rule set. A good thing about Blood Bowl is that it's all in the book, but other than like the actual physical rules, Ben, what kind of boundaries, what kind of things do you think would be important to talk about going into a league?
I think uh, inducement restrictions are kind
Yeah.
of that's a good thing. There are a lot of leagues who like don't use wizards and things. There's some
Terrible
teams,
people.
there's some leagues, there's some leagues which don't who might ban certain stars, and it just might change how you like, you know, if you're just like, oh, I'm really excited to run my goblin team with all the stars, and then just like actually can't use bomber or whatever, it
Yeah.
might change what you do. I think it's good to address it front.
I think yeah, inducements is exactly what I was thinking. Mercenaries are probably the only thing that need to be controlled one way or another. Actually, it might be that your league is well up for mercenaries. In my opinion, everything else that they've released is fine. Whether you are
I've
using the cards, whether you're using inducements from Death Zone or giants or pitches or whatever, everything is fine. But mercenaries I think, are probably the only thing that can be gamed pretty hard.
Yeah, that can be like. I remember when we touched on that, it was like, wow, you can just win the game with bloody dudes.
Yeah,
They're very cheap.
that becomes a little bit constructed Magic the Gathering, and that while I love it, I think for a 1 day event would be really fun, or like a 3 week period would be really fun, but not like, hey, I'm a newish player, I'm rocking up, I've got my spike, I've got this, and then you've just mastercrafted a bombardier on your team, and I'm like, what? What is this? Where is this? Why is this? How is this? That's literally the only thing in our league that we're not allowing access to. Everything
Yeah,
else that's legal, fully boots.
I did take the side bet, which I've actually like since I looked into it after using it just to like and when I was like looking into it to take, um, I think that one's caused a bit of controversy. I don't think we really touched on it much when we covered Deathstone.
I don't think we really did.
It got FAQ'd, which is good because before I saw the FAQ, I didn't realize it had been FAQ'd, but fortunately, Tourplay. A great feature of Tourplay is that it includes all the FAQ stuff, and it didn't let me do it, which is like, as in like, it just, I actually put in, I thought I could use petty cash for the side bet, which is really strong.
Yeah, that would
The
be.
Tourplay actually just took it out of my treasury, which I didn't even realize. So thankfully, I won it because I would have just made myself so poor because I put all my money.
So the side
Yeah,
bet, you can put your treasury money in,
yeah,
and if you win
up to 100k.
up to 100k, if you win the match, you double it. Otherwise, the money just goes away.
Right.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is an interesting catch-up mechanic. The problem I think we're going to have with that is that if you get, and this is the difficult thing, because like, if you have got a young league, actually, there's not like teams are pretty close. Like if until you kind of get maybe 8 to 10 games difference in your team, you're okay. But by kind of 8 to 12, there are going to be some orc teams, some dwarf teams, some undead teams that don't have anything to buy, so they're just going to chuck side bets on
I
and
think,
farm cash.
yeah, I think a good house rule is you can only take it if you're the underdog.
Yeah, I actually, yeah, I think that's a really good way of doing it.
Yeah, because otherwise, like you say, it was great for catch up. Like game one, I lost
Yeah.
my Rat Ogre. It enabled me to buy another one and get after game two because I just got a load of money. And but yeah, I could just now take it every game and probably get loads and loads and loads of money and buy like all my good players like straight away.
So do you
I
think
think that's quite strong.
do you think it would almost be better if it was inducement only then?
No, because I feel there's no reason not to get,
Gotcha.
because you don't lose anything, right? If you have like 30k, it's either that or it's either the mascot, or you can like get 60k in the bank,
Oh, that's fair.
which is just like stupid strong. So
Yeah.
I think treasury only. Like if you read Deathstone rules as written, you can use petty cash. There's nothing to say that comes out your treasury.
Oh, but
That's why it's
FAQ.
FAQ is treasury.
Yeah. That makes sense. It does make a lot of sense. I've forgotten about that one. But but that's it. Like, have a rule set. Discuss what's available, what's not available, what teams are available. Maybe you don't want the Slan team. Maybe you don't want Teams of Legend, because no one can go and buy it. Like personally, have them all in. It's fine. Maybe you want to add some secret teams. Could not recommend that enough. Like it's just outrageously fun. Whether you're going to have we used to have underdog bonuses in the old leagues, didn't we? Where if your team was 250k less or something, you got a free MVP at the end of the game because actually promising young talent. And it was a good way of being like, ooh, I'm down 250k here. Like this is going to be tough, but at least I get an extra MVP at the end of it.
Like, yeah, no, I think that's anything to catch up is always good.
Yeah.
You can really fall behind far in Liga. So.
However, I do think the inducements in this edition are a lot better. But that's mostly because Hackflem and Griff just can win a game. And I know you and I need to talk about this at some point about whether winning is necessarily worth it for the first half of a league. Because actually, there's going to be a lot of opportunities where it might just be like, I can try and score, or I can just throw the ball around the backfield and farm blocks to get SPP to build my team up. Because the way this system works, you get 10k for a touchdown. You don't get any more or less money for winning now. So it's kind of like for team development, I don't mind losing the game if I get more SPP on my players from doing this and that. It's an interesting one. I think we'll see a lot of that when BB3 lands.
Yeah, it is intriguing. I do think the 10K help in terms of scoring touchdowns. Like, no, sorry, 10K help. What does that sentence mean?
Well, no.
I say 10. I think the 10K helps in terms of scoring touchdowns. Does that help? Does that make any sense? I'm so scatterbrained today. Yeah, so I think the touchdown 10K is a really good incentive. I know when I was looking to get more money, I really, really wanted touchdowns. So I was very incentivized
to score
keep
more.
scoring. With the getting your winnings just from the fans, that's all my roles, like all 3 games, has been 3 or lower. And dedicated fans. So the money's been really like rip feeding in.
Yeah. I do like this new cash system in 2020. Like I really didn't enjoy it in the last edition, where it was like, oh, I had a brutal game and I've rolled a 1 for my money.
Yes.
Like it was not the best. In fact, that was another one that we house ruled in maybe the 3rd or 4th league because we were like,
what do we change on that?
It was a average between the 2 players.
Oh, okay.
To stop this from happening, basically. And it worked out brilliantly. So yeah, talk about where you're playing, when you're playing, what kind of schedule you've got, what house rules you're using, what adjustments or game limits you're using. Talk about what your playoff schedule is going to be like. So we invariably say you can play up to 6 or 8 games by this point, and then top 4 teams will go through to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of just how we do things. And then actually over that month period, everyone's kind of like, oh, league's over. I'll start brewing up some friendlies. Or I'll play a different game. I'll stay home or whatever. And actually, it's always kind of nice to have that little end of season few weeks of peace. It's quite useful while people play for the cup. Like it's really interesting. And the last thing to touch on, which will lead us into the next segment, is how are you going to manage your league? And I mean, what did we use for the last few seasons, Ben?
We've used an awesome sheet.
We used Google Sheets, but Excel and other stuff. I think there was a OBBBBBLM that was like, I don't know if that's been updated. I just
gave Milton a seizure. I think that one.
Yeah, he had a horrible time trying to fix it. Do you know what? There's nothing wrong with just using paper rosters, though. For smaller leagues, that's absolutely fine. If it's just you and like 3-4 other friends, then actually each of you just having a paper roster, no problem at all. But when you get to the realm of sort of 15 plus coaches, then having something online is definitely the way to go. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like Ben said, there's Google Sheets out there, or there is Tourplay, which someone suggested to us, and we were like, right, well, actually, let's start our new season. So before we take a quick break and then come back to talk all about Tourplay, Ben, is there anything else you would want to consider or kind of highlight about running and joining a league?
Probably not. I think that covers it. I think there's a little bit maybe in management, which doesn't really cover in Tourplay, and that is, are you going to have like prizes and things for a league? Because like some leagues might have like prizes at the end. That's something you might want to consider if you are running one.
Oh my god! And actually, the rules of the prizes for the team league, like in-game rules as well, like in-game prizes. Like, will your team earn money? Will your team earn what are the chests? Because there's rules in stuff, isn't there?
Is there?
Yeah, I think there's actual like rules for winning certain cups and things.
Oh wow! Okay,
but people don't normally use them because it's a really,
I didn't realize this was a thing.
It's a really awkward thing. Like winning a league is kind of like, well, you won the league, you won more games, you therefore have got more money and more SPP. Do we really want to give you anything else? Definitely something you should talk about. Yeah, I'm sure there's in some of the spikes as well. There's like, if you win the Frozen Cup, you get this.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like glittering. Oh, there's glittering prizes. First, second, third play. And then
yeah, the Ice Bowl has got it here as well. Many glorious prizes. As usual, the team that finishes first, second, and third receive gold pieces. The Ice Bowl Chalice. In addition to their cash prize, the winner gets the Ice Bowl Chalice, The team that holds the Ice Bowl Chalice gains the following ability at the start of each game. At the start of each game, roll a d6. On a 4+, your team gets an extra reroll for the game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so yeah, you might want to consider using those. I think another thing as well, one more thing on the management is it's definitely something we've talked about before with Wobble, is like having like a pool of stars. Like if people might not necessarily have a star player for their team,
Yeah.
maybe your league could have like a kind of communal selection of star players, that because it's always handy when you have like just enough cash to buy you a certain star that you might not have, and know that you can rock up.
Yeah, that's massive. Inducements is something that we need to take a bit of a deep dive into. We started the other week because actually knowing what's available to you is really important. And if you rock up to a league and you don't know who you're playing, so the way we do it at Wobble is really good. Like Ian's done a superb job of this. He puts a post on Facebook saying who's able to come, who's coming on Tuesday. He'll then run the round in the morning or the night before or something, and then everyone can see their team value so they can start planning what your inducements are.
Yeah.
But if you rock up and the game's changed because actually you were due to play James and I was due to play you, but James can't make it, so actually then the other person can't make it, so you end up changing opponents. You've got to be Johnny on the spot with inducements. And yeah, having like being there and being like, right, okay, I can actually afford Griff now. Having access to models that represent star players as a league, really useful. Because like, no worries, mate. Here, use this guy. This is Griff. You can borrow my Griff. Like, no worries.
Yeah.
And actually, it becomes that balance is there, because if you rock up to a club night, you've got inducements to take a star, but you've got no star players, or you don't know what star players you can even take. Actually, you kind of see that at the beginning of leagues with new players. We used to in the old edition anyway. It was a case of like, I've got 370 to K, like take K to take. I guess I'll just take a wizard or I'll just take a halfling master chef and a keg. And it's like, come on, dude, that's like 2 hack lems. Like, there's more you can do, but until you've got that accessibility, that's an excellent point, BT. Excellent point. But we will move on to Tourplay. Okay, so we've talked about leagues. We talked about some of the things you want to consider when you're joining a league or starting a league, to be honest with you. And I love spreadsheets, like Google spreadsheets. It's weird. It's technically not as good as Excel, but the way that it intermeshes is amazing and you can do some great stuff. But then I saw a lot of game posts in like random places, like whether it was on Twitter or Facebook or something, of the Tourplay, and it visually looks really good. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Then one of our coaches was like, we should look at running our league on Tourplay. Like, so we did. So BT, what is Tourplay?
It's really cool league management system which does everything you probably wanted to do and more. Like, I don't think we know who made it, do we?
It's just the people who make Tourplay make Tourplay.
Yeah, it's like it's phenomenal. It's and if you are listening to this and you made Tourplay, reach out. It'd be awesome to have a chat about it. Because it's a really good league management system that will log all your games, all your awards and things like that in real time, and importantly, it also logs your games in real time. So once you've paired up and your league has like said you're playing this person, you're playing this person, which you can do manually as well. Ian's been doing some games manually; it's not all automatic.
Yep.
You both hit start, and it runs through everything automatically. It'll roll your weather for you. It will show up. It will roll your fans for you. They show up. You then like do your inducements. Pick your inducements. Yeah. Do you want inducements? And it will give you a list of your available inducements. Just hit the ones you want. Comes up automatically, and then you just good to go. You don't have to click like next turn. It doesn't track it by turn. It tracks things by time.
Yeah,
so it starts like ticking a clock. Yeah, but I think that's great because having to hit every end turn every time would be annoying, and then you'd miss it, and things would go wrong. Then when something happens in the game, let's say I inflicted casualty on Ben, I would log the player that did a casualty and that he was injured. He would log an injury on his player, and it will roll the injury for you, apply anything for you. So it's like, you know, you roll a 14, and you can do this in the app, or you can roll dice and then input the result. You can do either one, so you're not bound to playing on an app, which some people would rather not do. And it just logs it all, and it's awesome because if you're not at club, like going on back onto like the game outside the game we were talking about earlier,
This
if you're
is
not at
huge.
club, you can see all these games with a little like in progress like banner coming along, like a live sports match, like an actual live fixture, and this thing just pops up. So, like this timeline at the top, then scrolls up a second.
You can
That
see.
timeline starts developing in real time, and it's really cool.
And when I was in
these things have
Italy,
login.
I checked in on the Tuesday to see what the games were. We're out at dinner, and I was like, I want to see what's going on in the league. And I could just jump on to Tourplay, go to our league, go to fixtures, and see who was playing, and click on the game and see what was going on, and see where the scores were. And that's just an absolute dream. Like, I was. I mean, we've talked about this, but like, I was missing my Blood Bowl fix when I was on holiday. Awesome, love my wife, wonderful holiday. But also kind of like, that Saturday when you guys were at the tournament, I haven't experienced that much FOMO in probably forever. I was like, I want to know what's happening, like who's winning. Like, it's one of the most exciting things about a tournament or a league is like who's winning, what's the score, what's the story that's developing. The cool thing here is you just log onto your league or anybody else's league. You go into a game, you can see what's happening, and then you can see what's happened. And it's super impressive. Now, Ben, for playing the game, is it easy to forget to add stats? Is it easy to add like casualties and things as you're going along?
It's incredibly easy. I would say it can be easy to forget. I think you get very used to it. It hasn't happened for me. I think it's happened for some people, and eventually, and then they just log it at the end. So it's not too bad. I think. I think if you're using it, you kind of want to because it's really fun to track it, and like you kind of remember for your own benefit because it's really fun to go back and remember. It also is really handy to log things that you might forget. Oh, who inflicted that casualty? If you weren't actively tracking it, it kind of gives you an incentive to remember.
Yeah,
that makes any sense.
Well, this is something that we ended up like. This is something that's really difficult in every league. Is how you're going to report your stats, how you're going to report what happens, because we've all been there, and it's like at the end of the game. I mean, for goodness sake, Ben, we filmed like 20 games for the Bonehead Championship. How many times are we like, who did that casualty? Like, who did that? And fortunately, we had a camera, so we could kind of go back and check. But otherwise, in league, you're like, I think it was this guy. It's like, oh, okay, fine. Like you said, having that incentive to log it while you're playing is awesome. The fact you don't have to and you can chuck it on afterwards gives you that that freedom is the word to do it one way or another. So if you are not necessarily tech adverse, if you just like want to focus on the game, like you can focus on the game, write it on your sheet like you normally would, and then at the end of the game chuck it all on. I mean, Ben, does it work all right on the phone?
Oh yeah, so it's like I feel like it's built first and foremost for mobile. So like it works really awesome on mobile because it's designed. You log it at the game. You're not going to have a laptop with you unless you're Ben. And
I was going to say absurd. Yeah, absolutely absurd.
So yeah, just having your phone on there is great, and you can. It's not like an app. You don't have to have it on because it's all run server side. You can close your phone. You can close your browser. It will still run. You can leave. You go to a different page. Look up results, go back, they're going to be there. So it's not logged on your phone, it's logged on us.
So I think the best way to describe it is it's Fumble for the tabletop. Like Fumble does a great job of logging your stats, logging your SPPs, telling you what you can take, what you can't take, reminding you the rules at the beginning of the game. And Fumble's awesome for that, and then you play the game on Fumble. But this is I'm saying it's Fumble because they've used the sprites from Fumble for all the player characters, so it looks the same. But actually, it's everything you want from a league management system. The players can log on; they can see their own stuff. As a player, you create an account and you create a team. So there is a bit of a threshold there, but actually, that's how you do it. Like but it helps you. It tells you what you can and can't buy. So instead of going onto a spreadsheet and trying to figure it out yourself, or sending a handwritten note to your league commissioner, you log on, you adjust your account, and it's really intuitive to be like, I'm going to buy this skill, I'm going to take a random, and you can do that. You know, you can go to game night, you can come home, you can chill out, have a cup of tea, and then 11:45, you're like, oh, you know what? Actually, I'm going to see what level ups I can take on my guy. You don't have to be at club, and it's controlled and it's commissioner related.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, like that's a key thing. Is like you can't fudge it.
Yeah.
Like I rolled Fumblerooski at random on my thrower. Had I been at home and I rolled that, I'd have ignored the dice.
yeah, we would not allow people to roll for randoms unless they were at club. Like
Exactly.
because
Yeah.
not that not saying you're gonna cheat, but actually it just seems fairer, right? And actually, the fact that this takes it, logs it, presents it, I can log on and see what skills you've got, your guys. It's a really cool system. Are there any downsides that you've come across?
I was thinking about this before we recorded, and honestly, I don't think so. I think it's genuinely flawless.
It isn't free, and I think it's worth mentioning that there is a small cost. I can't remember if it's €10 or €20 a month. I think I paid €20 so that we can have 20 plus teams or something. But if you think about it, it's €1 per player per month or something like that.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. Like if it's a split league cost, which I would be more than happy to contribute then.
Ian re-upped for me because I didn't realize that what I'd paid had run out. Like,
okay.
So Ian re-upped, but he sort of said, "Look, well, I'll just take it out of because we pay to play at the club. Just a
that's
donation.
a good idea.
So actually, if everyone goes 3 times a month, then it's going to be like £7-8. And actually, if one of those pounds needs to go in paying for the league, then actually, this level of accessibility is worth it.
Yeah, it's huge. It saves you a lot of if you think of how long, or at least how much effort the labor is into putting into like spreadsheet management and things like that. Having this do it for you it gives you a lot of time back.
Absolutely worth it. The graphics, like just the fact that it has got, you choose your color for your team, and then you can add a logo if you want. You don't have to have a logo, but it just graphically represents things in a way that looks really nice. And if you go to our league homepage, which I will link in below because you can log on and check out our league because you might as well. You've got a news bit at the front of your league that says recent events. So I can see that Arzel Ironarm, the Bloodseeker, got block at 16 Castles. So that's Sam. So Sam 3 hours ago logged on and gave his Bloodseeker block. Anonymous, the Dark Elf lineman, took block. Flasher, the Chaos Dwarf blocker, got shadowing at a random primary.
Killer random.
Sorry, Randall, that's brutal. Craig Steele took extra arms on a Pestigore. Mo Pharaoh got grab a random, like, quick plank border. Your gutter runner got 2 heads on a secondary a day ago. Like, it's got that thing, and that's one of the cool things about Fumble is you've got some stuff like that, but this is just top. You can put news for your league in there. You just log on and see stuff, and you've got the most recent games here. So if we want to just flick through and pick a game, you just pick a game. So there's
having the team icons just makes this look so good. It's like proper like sports pictures, isn't it? That little banner with all the games.
It is so good. And yeah, you just click on a game. You can go down. You can see if you want to see a team. So Palmer Violence, Byron's Underworld team, won that game 4-0. You click on that. You can see his team. You can see that the Underworld Troll's got claws. You've got Skaven Blitzer with Tackle, Mighty Blow. And this team's getting a bit chonky now, isn't it?
It's pretty grim. Yeah, that gutter runner is.
It's only 1185, so actually it's fine. He's got a block clan rat, sneaky git goblin, a block 2 heads gutter. Okay, that's your.
I've got one of those too though. So
yeah,
I wanted to get one in return for when I face him.
Oh, block 2 heads, extra arms thrower.
Yeah, that's pretty gnarly, isn't it?
That's awesome.
Extra arms on a thrower.
Yeah, 2+ pickup, 2+ pickup.
Oh, it's pickup as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's excellent. That's really cool. And you can see that this Goblin lineman who has 2 heads is actually missing next game. and you can see what they've got. You can see the latest matches, and it's just done in a really cool way. And you can go onto your team, you can name them, you can do stuff and change
And they
things.
use the fumble icons.
They did use the fumble
Important.
icons, which I think is just, hey, it's 64-bit graphics, it's perfection.
It's really cute. Yeah.
Absolutely love it, and the timelines are really good. So this is so we've covered all the good bits. We've talked about some things that it's not good at, which is literally just the fact that it isn't free, and there is a little bit of a learning curve from a TO point of view, like shuffling matches around, allowing teams in, deleting players, reshuffling teams. But there's always going to be the case. Just be a good commissioner and figure it out. Their help team are amazing. So I had a question about redrafting right at the very beginning of this league, and I flagged it up on their contact us, and they got back to me within, I think it was just a few hours, like pinged it back saying, yeah, no worries, you can do it like this. Super, super, super good. My question is around tournaments, Ben, because they've got this preview element here to run a tournament on Tourplay. And they've got some tournaments listed. I don't think any of them are live. I don't think any of them have been done. But
one of them has been 24th.
Oh yeah.
That's all the games.
What, round 1, round 2, round 3? Although round 3 hasn't been completed. So interesting. Very interesting. But what do you think about using a platform like this for tournaments?
I think this would be amazing. And I would like this to potentially controversially replace the NAF. Because an issue we've had, especially with the recent tournament, is that while the NAF is good, it's getting a bit out of date.
Ben means the NAF website, not necessarily the actual player association.
Yes, of course. Yeah, sorry. The NAF website. While it's good and it's functional, it's still lacking, especially in tournament where not everyone is NAF registered. So some people won't have their games logged. It's something that we have an issue with when we're logging the games on there. So recently we had a couple of players who was like, oh, my games aren't showing up from SCS. And I was just like, oh, I'll go check the players. And sadly, they didn't play any NAF players, so no games are logged. I think this would be really cool to log it anyway. So you can always go back and see your game results, and you can have your teams which you can take to multiple tournaments. The team kind of gets tournament experience, which I think is a really cool thing. I think that's really cool. If you don't mind me dipping into a downside of that straight away, is that it requires people to sign up, which is a barrier.
That was because we had a little chat about this with Milton as well, because we've been talking about opportunities to run better tournaments, and actually we've got a system that would allow our players to submit their game entries by Google Sheets, like straight away at the end of the match. They can submit it and it will automatically populate onto our tournament sheet on the day. But we've decided not to do that because actually it creates that tech barrier split. And then we were like, oh, what about Tourplay? Because I love the interface. I love that you can basically, it's the coach's problem to figure out how to create a team, which isn't that difficult. And I love that, and it's got all the functionality. Like, there's probably some bits you'd want to do differently, etc. But that's certainly not something that's not insurmountable. Like it's basically, like I said, it's fumble, but you enter your stuff from the tabletop in there. But that barrier, if you think about our tournament spend, so we had 60 players for SCS, something like that, yeah. And the majority of the rosters were brilliant and sent in, but actually the wherewithal to populate a roster in a certain format or by a certain timeline, it can be difficult depending on your life. If you're like, oh my god, that tournament's in 2 weeks, I better write that roster, and then you go back to work, or your kid cries and you go do that and you forget about it, then there is a barrier to it. But I think having a good tech system like this, it really is I think it's a really nice middle ground of, hey, you need to populate your roster by Saturday the 27th, otherwise you can't play.
Mm-hmm.
And the roster's right there. and you go on and you build it. And there's always the tech thing. I mean, we did it for our Fumble leagues during the apocalypse, right? We were like, hey, get your team populated by here on this by this link, and if you're registered, you're good to go. If you're not registered by this point, you can't because we're going to populate the rounds. I love the graphics. I love the way it logs stuff. I love how viewer friendly it is. I think it's probably
so nice.
like
Yeah, the UI is beautiful on it. It's really cool. It's really exciting to show people. Like I got friends who I've got friends who I play Warhammer with who haven't been into Blood Bowl before, and I've been showing them the update of like the games and stuff, and like some really interesting games. I've been like showing them the result. There's some really good stories of like you can log like was it Phil's Greenskin Phil's like goblin who was just like foul 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 die or something like that, where it was just like justice served, something like that. And yeah, you can just like send stuff like that, and now they are like at least two of them are buying Blood Bowl teams because they're just like, this is awesome. This is awesome. Like the fact you can see the growing league, that they're sports
yeah.
people.
Yeah, Lenny, number 16.
Yeah.
Foul, 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 injury dead.
Yeah.
5-0 for one of your games, Ben. Blimmin' heck.
Oh yeah. Or Craig.
Dethroning me as the Skaven King.
That was the one where I needed some cash. Put the side bet and got 5 touchdowns and got like 135k or something. Yeah,
man,
it was gnarly.
That's insane. But I mean, I'm really impressed with it. Like, absolutely super impressed with it. The one thing that puts me off it, just for our purposes, like, would be some of the privacy functionality. I assume it can be added if it's not there, but if we were going to be running a tournament, you want your rosters to be secret. At the moment, I think you can log on and see anybody's team. It might be a setting like that's something that they'd definitely be secure about it. But also, I was thinking we could use this for the Bonehead Championship, right?
Oh yeah, sure.
Except there's a button here that says hide team composition. Fantastic.
There you go.
We'll be showing to other participants. Will not be shown. This could be deactivated at any time. That's amazing. Would be private, having the league private, because I wouldn't want people to just be able to go and check out what this, because we play.
Oh
yeah. So I was like, that would be really cool to show that off, and I'm like, except that people could just go to Tourplay, find our league, and check it out.
Can you make the whole league private anyway?
I don't know. I couldn't find a button for that.
Okay.
I hope that would be in there. Oh, you can save. That's interesting. I guess you could just kind of fudge it and just create a league and.
Well, if you said the support is good, maybe we can ask them and find out.
Yeah, because actually it'd be a really good way and a really good graphical way of representing it for the channel as well. And I love that. So yeah, I mean, Tourplay looks and as the core bit of League, in fact, almost everything is in there. So actually, if they carry on with the tournament work that they're doing, this is probably going to be. There's potential there of this being a primary Blood Bowl competitive platform. And I know there is another one called Break Tackle that's been brewed up that could be a nice competitor, but we haven't seen too much out of that one yet. But Tourplay, I'm impressed. And if you're telling me that actually everyone else is loving it too, then I think this is super something to be aware of if you're planning on running a Blood Bowl league. Like, yes, all right, it's £10 a month or whatever, but that might be the best £10 you ever pay from a league commissioner point of view.
I feel like your pricing's off. League season, number of users up to 10 is €4 a month, and then an extra 40 cents per user. After that.
That's awesome.
So yeah, €4 plus €4 for up to 10. So basically 40 cents per player.
Kind of, yeah. A
month.
I'm only thinking because I paid €20 because when I was going through my accounts, I found it. I was like, I paid €20 for Tourplay. That's fine.
Okay, you can get 200 players.
I guess that's like 2 months or something. Because
okay.
26 teams, haven't we? So I don't know. 10 weeks. I'm not sure. Anyway, anything else you want to add from Tourplay?
Tournaments are currently free, Wallace.
Yeah, but I don't know if they're. I don't know. We need to check it out. I think for tournaments. I do like the system we've got. It's pretty low barrier to entry, so I do enjoy that. But actually, if your league wanted to run a tournament, this would be the best way to do it. But if you've got people traveling from all over the place, then actually, if you're planning on running the World Cup, this probably isn't the answer. Although it feels like it would be the answer.
It says up to 500 players on the tournaments. So.
Yeah, maybe. You never know. This time next year, Ben, we may be using Tourplay to run our tournaments.
It would be good. I think trusting that it will work for a whole tournament, I think is where I have doubt. Just in terms of if something goes wrong, at least when it's our own systems, we can fix it.
Yeah. Well, we use a backup as well, don't we? So
yeah, exactly.
We use a public-facing manual entry, and then we use Score as like the core of it. So if Score goes down, we've got a Google version. If Google goes down, we've got the Score version. And it works really well. I think. Right, wicked. Okay, BT. I think we've covered everything on Tourplay.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, fantastic. Now, before we wrap up, it's episode 97. We do have episode 100 coming up in literally a month's time. So the first episode in September will be episode 100. So if you've got ideas for what you want to see or just help us, because otherwise it's just probably going to be about Amazons. So
that'd be so sad.
I know. Episode 100, nobody's favorite team. No, I'm joking. There are some.
I have a full week off work before that week.
Do you really?
This could be quite exciting. Yeah.
Oh, I've got a floating week actually, because I'm supposed to have a week off in August, but that was for my old job, and I don't work in that old job anymore, and I've just had 3 weeks off due to being sick and on holiday. So maybe we'll have to.
That's dangerous. We'll have give us time to do something stupid.
But yeah, answers on a postcard. Let us know what nonsense you think we should do, or what you think would be worthy of episode 100. Because we could have a good fun time, I reckon. But anyway, BT, thanks ever so much for giving up your Wednesday night to chat Blood Bowl.
Thank you very much.
And we'll wrap up now. Thank you very much for watching, guys. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to help support the channel even further, please like and subscribe, or come join us on our Patreon. We have early access to content. We get loads of feedback from you guys, and we try and do competitions as much as we can. Or you can get yourself some Bonehead Podcast merch on our Spreadshirt site. So if you want to support a team, especially for the Bonehead Championship, you can pick up a shirt, a mug, things like that. It all helps support the channel, and we really appreciate it. Anyway, links below. Thank you very much. Happy blocking.